When you look at the quarterback rankings, who's the best one? Is it Lawrence? Is it Fields? Is it Wilson? Now Mac Jones is in the picture. Where's Trey Lance's ceiling? So on and so forth. What is your rankings? I mean, you've covered enough college to see all these guys being able to see what they are at this point. Who are your top in your order from best to worst prospect in regards to the quarterback rankings?
And Lawrence is clearly number one. To me, he's the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. You've heard a number of experts say it. The guy's got everything. He can move. He's got a great arm. He's smart. He's proven to be a winner. I think to me, it's Justin Fields and Zach Wilson are kind of right there at number two. I think Fields is being underrated for a number of reasons. I think people like to, when you see these guys play and they're playing top teams, people nitpick. But to me, all Fields did is win. I think it's a mistake if he falls past the third quarterback taken. I know Mac Jones had this great year, but the guy's playing with pros at every position of receiver. He's got the best offensive line in the sport. You could take, to me, any of the top 10 quarterbacks in this draft, and you would have put them on Alabama, and they would have had a year like Mac Jones. I think the Niners are making a huge mistake by taking him 3. I think Mac Jones is an NFL backup. Just, it's my opinion. I would go him 5, and I would go Trey Lance 4. I think Lance has got some great physical attributes. Obviously, there's some uncertainty with him, playing the FCS and not, the lack of, competition. But to me, he's a big-time athlete. He's got a ton of self-confidence. I would put him 4, and I would put Jones 5.
Now, Zach, we've been hearing a lot of trade talks, and a lot of teams might be moving up for particular positions, and there's one position and one team that is looking for a quarterback. A team that's lost their star quarterback in Tom Brady is the New England Patriots. There are stories coming out from New England, and I want to give a shout-out to Jeff, who was one of the first people to really put this in my ear, and now it's been a story that's really reaching to the top. New England's looking to trade up to number 8 with the Carolina Panthers. If Justin Fields falls out of the top 5, he could fall to number 8. And Carolina's looking for a corner. There are stories coming out that the Patriots are willing to part ways with Gilmore or even Jackson. Do you see this happening if Justin Fields falls to number 8?
I still don't know if I see the Patriots trading up into that top 10. I don't think it'll happen. I'm not saying it won't. I have a hard time seeing them trading up 10. And, I've read that and I've heard that the Panthers, they could still draft a quarterback and, let the kid watch Darnold for a year and see what happens there. And, look, if Sam has a great year, then maybe you move him and get some picks or whatever. I don't see them trading out of the top 10. I think a lot would have to happen there. I know it always feels like the eve of the draft year. There's all this talk about all these trades that are going to happen and, blockbuster stuff, and it doesn't quite happen. Look, it makes sense for the Patriots. They obviously need a quarterback. I don't know if you're trading an all-pro, corner, such an important position in this league, as we all know, just to move up in the draft.
I want to take it from the college football perspective. Obviously, there was a lot of conferences this season that had shortened seasons, the Big Ten, the Pac-12, the Mountain West, stuff like that. Do you think that's something that hurts a player's development when it comes to their draft stock and where they will end up being in the NFL? Or could it be a positive sign where there's less wear and tear on their body and maybe they won't be as injury prone? What do you think is the commonality between all that? Are you on one side or the other with that kind of, dilemma?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of misses in this draft because of that. Whether it's guys who opted out and didn't play this season, whether it's less tape to have on a kid. Obviously, we didn't have a traditional combine. It's harder to assess players. I don't think there's any question about it. And I think you're going to see a lot of, maybe some reaches, maybe some, look back in a few years and think, man, I can't believe this team took this player. Because, look, there are a lot of guys in this draft who haven't played football in 2 years. There are a lot of guys who maybe played but played a very, very short season. So I think it definitely complicates things when you consider, this season that we just had. And look, whether it was games played, whether it was the lack of a combine, lack of workouts, this has obviously got to be one of the more difficult drafts to analyze players.